Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try something a little more complex than last one. Last one was just boxes, okay? Knowing how the 2-point, 1-point perspective worked and the eye level line. So here we have boxes and we have ellipses. And so the ellipses make for a little more complex drawing, but I'll show you how to do these, okay? So let's see, where is the eye level line? The eye level line, I'm guessing, is right about here. So that's about 3/4 of the way up. So I'm going to put that eye level line here. And then I'm going to decide on the box height. So I have this box here. And so this box is going to take up about that much room. And this large box here is on the eye level line. So I'm trying to put all these in here. Well, let's move this over a little more. So I'm going to move it over here, and it comes right up to the eye level line. It's probably just a little bit below it. Now I can't see the side of the box on either side, so I just have the front of the box facing me. And so that makes that one really easy. You know, that's just a 1-point perspective going to vanishing point up here. So now I'm going to throw this box in that's behind this one, and I'm going to try to decide, okay, so this one's going to go behind that box. So I'm just doing, usually you want to do the boxes, you want to do the stuff in front, but in this case everything's sitting on top of this one box. And I want to try to get the same angle that is happening here. Okay, same angle. It's a 2-point perspective. Goes way out. Okay, same angle. Right? And this one goes up. And this one goes behind this box. The box on top, it's a 2-point perspective, so I have the front corner landing right about here. Now remember, any box that's above the eye level line, the orthogonal lines go down. So I want to get the same angle of that line. Oops, maybe a little bit too steep. Now notice, if I don't draw it correctly, I am not going to get too upset. I just draw over the top of it. Some people have to erase every little line that they put on there. Nah. Don't bother to do that. Okay, so the angle of this going down here. See, look at this. I've got this line hanging above. Don't worry about it. Not a problem. Okay, so I have this box, this box. I can't see the back of this box. I'm not going to worry about it. I can see the side of this box. How far over does it go? I can measure, always measure. And it's about the same width as this. So this probably goes over just a little bit farther than what I have it, right? Now, I have to deal with this box in front. How am I going to do that? Now this box is tilted, so it doesn't necessarily go with the same rules as a 1-point, 2-point perspective problem. Your point of perspective is going to go that way. Your orthogonals, as I look at this, is going up a little bit, not much. And then I want to try to get the same. So I'm visually trying to draw this. This line is going to go here, right? Yeah, do I have that box right? Yeah, maybe a little lower. Might have it a little wide, so I'm changing it. I'm not worried about all these lines. They'll disappear as I go. The angle of this is pretty steep. The angle of that is going to be different. You know, broke my chalk. So that's going down this direction. Because that box is all sitting on top, and this angle I do not have right, so I'm going to change this. Okay, it's a little more of an angle, and I know the one point it's going to go this direction. Not quite right. Okay. Now, how do we handle the ellipse? We have all these ellipses in these muffin tins. We have the ellipse in this toilet paper roll. Up here, I can't see the top of the toilet paper roll. The ellipse is like this, but it's down inside of it, right? So the ellipse here, I can see. Let's see about how far up is that? A little less than halfway, right? Yeah, halfway. And then the bottom is curved. Okay, so those ellipses. Okay, so this ellipse is easy to see, not a problem. But how do you do muffin tins? Muffin tins are kind of the ultimate. If you can do muffin tins, you can do anything. Okay, so this is more of a challenge. So how do I do this? I visually have to decide this muffin tin is nothing more than a box, right? It's a one-point perspective problem. The corner of the muffin tin is facing towards me, and it's going back like that, and this one is going across, and the diagonal lines go up just slightly, and then I'm trying to get the angle of this going back. And I don't see the back of that muffin tin. So that muffin tin is nothing more than a box. So if you treat it as such, so that's the muffin tin. So how do I divide this up now? I divide, the farther back these are in the distance, the narrower the ellipse is going to be. The closer it is, the wider the ellipse is going to be. Now let's make this even narrower. Okay, so I'm going to divide it up into a box, following the angles here. But now I'm going to put the ellipse in. So this ellipse is going to look like this. Gets narrower here, gets narrower, gets really narrow here. Boom, muffin tin. Okay, I can put the bottom of this muffin tin in. So all this line work I've got here will disappear. I can get rid of that. Okay, so that's in front of the muffin tin. I see some of this side here. So I can put the detail in. Isn't that cool? Now that's how to do a muffin tin. Okay, so we have this muffin tin down here. How do we do this? The ellipse is much wider because it's further away from the eye level line. So the farther away it is from the eye level line, the more round that ellipse is going to appear. The farther away it is, the more narrow that ellipse is going to appear until it gets up to the eye level line where it's just a flat line. You know, similar to this. So it's more just a flat line here. It's very close to that eye level line. Okay, so now we're going to do this muffin tin. So how do we do this muffin tin? It's just the box. Okay, so I'm trying to get the same angle with my broken charcoal. I hate it when I break my charcoal. Okay, so I'm trying to get the same angle. So this is just a visual way of laying this out. Am I far enough over? Should I measure? So, okay, so if I measure, that's pretty close. It might be a little longer. Let's make it a little longer, just in case. Okay, so I have my box of my muffin tin, right? So if this is the muffin tin, but I don't see the side of the muffin tin. I can't see anything down there, but I can see it in these ellipses. So how would I draw these? Okay, so I have, okay, so they get smaller as they go back. Oops, nope, didn't do it. Make that smaller. Okay, we'll make that a little bigger here. And we'll make that smaller. Okay, draw a line down the middle. Where am I? Same angle as these. Now how do I do the muffin tin? I have my ellipse. I want a little rib here. So I want to try to get this ellipse to read right. I had a professor in college who loved to torture us with muffin tins. And she would never tell us how to do it. She said, here, figure it out. So, and then she'd sit back and kind of laugh at us, trying to figure out a way to get these ellipses to look right. So one day I figured it out. And it was like, I'd never forget it from there. Okay, so does the ellipse get smaller as it goes back? Yeah, well, pretty close. I also see the ellipse inside, right? The closer it is, the more I see. And as I draw that in. Cool, isn't that neat? That is just so much fun. Okay, so then we have this muffin tin. And this muffin tin goes back into space, back here, right? Not worried about these lines so much. Wow, this muffin tin has 1, 2, 3, 4 holes in. Wow, am I gonna be able to get all that in there? Make this narrower. I made it too wide. That's okay. See, I'm not worried about all these lines. They'll go away. You know, those mean nothing to me. Okay, and then I'm going to divide this up. And they get smaller, hopefully, as they go away. So I'm just trying to get this a little wider, a little smaller, a little smaller, a little smaller. Did I do it? Not quite. But I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm just going to go for it. So that ellipse gets smaller as it goes away. It actually looks like it's going away. Now, isn't that cool? Okay, so now I can add in, I've got most, oops, just a line here. That goes over further. Okay, so I've got all my parts into play. Now I can add shadows. I know I have a shadow here. Just mapping out the shadows sometimes helps, and it saves time later, okay? So I know this shadow is being cast here from my toilet paper roll. And I think I have everything working. So now it's just shadow here, shadow here. So now it's just a matter of adding my values in. This is a flat surface. What do we know about flat surfaces? Flat surfaces will always have a gradient. The gradient is where it goes from light to dark. I have to decide, I'm getting reflected light from this side, coming in this way for reflecting off a white surface. So this side is going to be lighter, this side is going to be darker. It just makes life easier if you can see that in the picture. Sometimes you can't see that. You just have to know that's a gradient because it's a flat surface, and you just guess at where that's going to go. Okay, I don't want to get too dark too fast, because if you get too dark too fast and you make it too dark, it's a lot harder to make it lighter. So you do not want to shoot yourself in the foot and get too dark too quickly. So you want to build up your values nice and gradual. That's a gradient. Clean that edge up a little bit. Ms. Pletcher, do you have any more charcoal that's larger? I whacked it on the edge here and I broke it.
Is that better, the one that I have in my hand? On trade?
Slightly. Okay. Thank you. Mrs. P's off here practicing her ellipses, her muffin tins. Because muffin tins drive her crazy sometimes also.
I think my muffin tins look pretty good.
But if you think of it right, they should make sense, okay? It's all about thinking of the muffin tin as a box. Okay, now this is a cylinder, not a flat surface. So a cylinder is going to have parallel lines or parallel rectangles. So I know the cylinder and the core shadow is right in the middle here because I'm getting reflected light coming from this way. And I'm doing this rather fast, but I could spend hours on this and refine this and get it just perfect. But I know viewers are hoping I get to the point quickly here. Okay, so it's just a matter of plugging in your shadows, looking for your values. You want that whole range of values, right? You do not want to have everything the same value. So squint at it. Ew, these are all the same value. Stop that. Okay, so I need to make one darker. Okay, so I'm going to make this one darker. Because I want my whole range of values. I don't want them all looking the same. Cast shadows are always a good place to get darker. Because cast shadows tend to be some of your darkest darks. And there's a little bit of light shining behind that toilet paper roll. That toilet paper roll is a cylinder, right? We already talked about that. So, and the core shadows in the middle. So I did that. Edge. Okay. Shadow, much lighter. Remember, to do light values, you just tickle the paper a little bit, make it lighter. Because I want a whole range of values. Don't want it to look all the same. So these are going to have some light areas and some dark areas. And I'm going to adjust this a little bit as I go. Just because you drew something on here doesn't mean that you can't change it. It's perfectly fine to adjust things. So as you're drawing it, you're going to see other things, and you'll want to adjust it. You know, like this front lip probably should be a little different. Ooh, let's see this whole side here. Behind. Let's see this side. Now, what shadow would be on these muffin tins? I would say these muffin tins are cylinders, or they're cones, right? So I know this shadow shape, so I should know what the shadow shape is. So the shadow shape is going to be more triangular, possibly. So depending on the shape of the object will help me decide what kind of shadow shapes or value shapes I see here. Oh, isn't that fun? And I'm just doing this very quickly. Now some of this stuff I could erase, or I could add a background value to help lose some of the underneath drawing that I used to get that muffin tin. And so I have a shadow here that's more circular, right? And all these shadows have a different value. If you get every value, you know, your whole range of values in here, this is gonna look really sharp. It's gonna be a pretty spiffy drawing. Now remember, it doesn't always matter what you draw. Very often it's how you draw it. So, yeah, you probably won't see muffin tins in the Louvre, but you never know. If you do muffin tins really well, they may put them into a museum. You may be the first artist that has muffin tins in a museum. Put that feather in your head. Okay, so this is just going to take time to build up all these values because there's lots of little shapes here. Oops, and I made that too big, so I'm going to adjust and I'm going to make that smaller. This is where you fast forward. Elena likes to do muffin tins.
We're doing muffin tins.
Elena, come and do muffin
You want to do
tins.
muffin tins with us?
I can't. I don't know where.
Well, you just tell them you
Oh.
gotta do muffin tins. They won't know what that means.
I wish.
Take time. Yeah, definitely 5 times the speed.
Right? Wow, look at how fast we go. Wow. This is kind of a fun drawing.
Are you doing it too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I actually don't know if I've ever drawn muffin tins before. But that box situation, that's really helpful. Then they're easy.
They are. But they're really hard if you don't know that.
Lucky I knew that.
Okay, now I need an eraser.
You need an eraser?
Yeah, I need to make some things go
There's
away.
one, I think there's like a big, where did I put it? A big rubber eraser somewhere around here.
I've got so many lines here.
I gotta. The kids tell me they need a longer piece of charcoal. Maybe they actually do. No, that's fine. It's long enough.
I want to talk about shadows and how you have some shadows have hard edges and some have soft.
That'd be good for like a still life, probably.
Yeah.
Well, like this is a still life, but of
Well,
something else.
Emphasize the
Animals or flowers or something. I was trying to draw flowers last night, and I was thinking about that hard edge, soft edge thing with leaves and petals and stuff.
Yep.
Just stay where you are.
I think I'm eating it to death. Round drawing materials. I bought a whole box of charcoal beginning of the year off of Amazon.
I literally just had that thought I should get some more charcoal for the summer even. You stay. Yeah, that easel is a lot more comfortable to sit at. I'm noticing as I'm sitting over here.
It's whatever Jack Richardson had on sale at
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is what I bought. And so you never knew what kind of easels they had left over.
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Okay, I think I get up.
That looks great. Beautiful.
Yeah, if I had a gum eraser or kneaded eraser, I'd clean up some of this smeariness that I got here.
I have a gum eraser. Where is it? Touched it before you got here. What's right? This one's
Didn't
old.
even see that.
This is kind of, that probably is kind of junk, but
Hopefully they don't see me doing this.
no, we never erase anything.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's not the right one.
just clean up some of these edges.
We could talk about when to use an eraser in this case.
Yeah, it's never on the initial drawing, it's always later to clean things up or to use as a drawing tool itself.
We were playing a game earlier with the kids, that headbands game where you have to guess what you have on your forehead, you know, and you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And Elena's was, well, it ended up being computer, but like, she was asking all these questions like, can I write with it? And she said, eraser. And Jackson was like, you can't write with an eraser. And she's like, well, you can in art. Like, yep, you're right. You can draw.
Good for her. I guess she did learn something. Here, that helped that. Did I show you the one card I had from a new student?
Oh yeah, you did from Noah. About
Or Levi, yeah.
your special, oh Levi, sorry.
Yeah,
Your special sayings.
my famous sayings from the day every day. I'm trying to think about it, it makes me laugh. So their goal was to figure out what the famous saying was going to be that day. Because I always had something different. It was always something, and I didn't even think about it. It's just like,
That's cute.
give the teacher a hard time.
Oh, toilet paper roll up on top, it's kind of hard to distinguish between the box and the
Yeah, there's a little
shadow and
highlight right here.
I mean, yours looks wicked better than mine does over here. Mine just looks like a weird random shape on top of the box here. Yeah, that's better. I need that.